Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Now, the Community Secretary, Sajid Javid, has defied the views of a local community in Lancashire by ordering the go-ahead for fracking. Lancashire County Council had previously refused permission for the development at the Preston New Road site in Little Plumpton. If it now goes ahead, it'll be the first example in the country of what is called horizontal fracking, and it could be the green light for a series of similar developments around the country. Here's Kieran Jenkins.
After years of delays and disputes, it is liftoff for fracking in the UK. The rigs, the drills, the wells, they're coming straight here for this field on the Fylde. A devastating day then for some local residents, but a big day for the UK shale gas industry. Trillions of gallons of shale gas are said to lie beneath British soil. The energy firm Quadrilla now has approval to explore for shale gas on this site, and another is still being reviewed. They can frack again in the UK for the first time since 2011, when 2 minor earthquakes brought fracking to an abrupt halt. Now, what Quadrilla is saying is that even at full flow, this site won't look like much. It's marked out by 4 of these little fenced-off areas, about the size of 2 rugby pitches. And what they plan to do is to drill 2 wells, and all the activity goes on beneath the ground. So they drill down about 2 miles underground, and then they can drill out horizontally at about 1 to 2 kilometers in any direction. That means drilling beneath people's homes, people's businesses, and even the motorway just over there. After drilling down and then out, a mix of water, sand and chemicals is forced through the cracks to release shale gas. They call it horizontal fracking, and it's never been done before on mainland Britain. Earlier, Lancashire Council said no. But the government stepped in. Today's decision, an early test for the Prime Minister and that promise outside number 10.
We will do everything we can to give you more control over your lives. When we take the big calls, we'll think not of the powerful, but you.
A spokesman told me her words speak for themselves. But the decision of Lancashire Council was overturned.
That makes me feel sick. It does.
These residents just heard the government was minded to approve fracking near their homes.
Just listen to this. I mean, you can't hear anything. It's so beautiful.
They fought it on noise, health and environmental grounds for over 3 years.
Yeah, I always thought the Conservative Party looked after, the ordinary person just as much as any of the other parties. I actually feel that's not the case. I actually feel that our government is being driven by big industry.
Maybe the ordinary person in this case, though, is the average energy consumer, and the government has to look out for their needs, doesn't it?
But we can do that in a better way.
But the government says fracking will make us less reliant on importing energy, and it could support thousands of jobs. The Scottish government, though, has a moratorium on fracking, and Labour says it would ban it.
There will be site construction, so you'll see bulldozers and gravel, etc., like any construction site. Then you'll see a drilling rig.
Here on the Fylde, Quadrilla will be drilling by April next year.
I don't think it's a competition between business and the ordinary person. We are employing ordinary people here in Lancashire. We are a Lancashire business.
Would you be happy with fracking going on beneath your house?
Yeah, absolutely. Particularly if I could benefit from it and my children could benefit from it and the economy can benefit from it, no problem.
So would you buy a house here?
I'm not planning to, but I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Soon the fences will go up here. Protests inevitable, because fracking now seems inevitable too.
Kieran Jenkins. Well, with me now is the Friends of the Earth energy campaigner Rose Dickinson, and we're joined from Glasgow by Ken Cronin, the Chief Executive of UK Onshore Oil and Gas. Good to have you both on the programme. Ken Cronin, if I could start with you. The last time you tested for fracking in Lancashire in 2011, you caused an earthquake. You're going to cause another earthquake?
Absolutely not. The regulations are very tight. We also have a lot of seismic monitoring devices that record down to a very, very low level, and the actual limits set by the regulation are extremely low, so low that you won't be able to feel it.
I mean, if they're so low, I gather that the last time you caused that earthquake, it was 2.3 on the Richter scale, which isn't huge, but it's still an earthquake. And the limit is now down to 0.5 on the Richter scale, which is, I mean, I could probably cause 0.5 by banging this table. So what's the point, really?
Well, the reality is that a lorry going past your home is going to be higher than a 0.5, but the actual regulation itself now says that when we get to 0.5 deep underground, we have to stop, investigate what has caused it, and then work out what to do next.
Right, but if the limit is set so low, it's virtually inevitable that you're going to have to stop the test fracking.
Well, let's see how we get on. The regulations are there. They've been put in place to give comfort to the local people.
Right. Bruce Dickinson, I mean, we've been here before, to frack or not to frack. The point is really, what are the alternatives? We need more energy sources. Here's one right underneath our feet on British soil.
Well, the government today have made the wrong decision by forcing fracking on Lancashire and overturning a locally made and democratic decision to say no to this risky and unwanted technology. It was only a year ago, or just over a year ago, that local councillors voted overwhelmingly to reject fracking. After looking at the evidence, they concluded that it poses unacceptable environmental risks to local people. The government shouldn't just ignore that decision and force fracking on any local community.
OK, well, let's turn to you with that one. You've overturned local democracy. This is against grassroots democracy, what you're doing.
Well, we had a positive planning decision in North Yorkshire earlier this year, and Friends of the Earth are actually now judicially reviewing that.
But we're talking about Lancashire here. What about Lancashire?
No, but I think it's hypocritical of Friends of the Earth to be criticising us for using an appeal process that many other firms and industries do, as they have done in North Yorkshire.
Rose Dickinson?
When it comes to North Yorkshire, the local district council there overwhelmingly voted again to oppose fracking. And actually the reason we're judicially reviewing that decision is because they failed to look at the climate change impacts of fracking. And we know that we need to keep 80% of fossil fuels in the ground if we're going to avoid dangerous climate change. And it's just wrong to say that setting up a whole new fossil fuel industry is the right thing to do. It's completely wrong.
But the floodgates are now open, and post-Brexit, this is the reality. And isn't it possible that it might be just better to get our local energy from our local sources instead of shipping them in from Kuwait or the United States? This is about energy security.
What the industry have today is a piece of paper, but what doesn't change is the community opposition to fracking. People in Lancashire do not want fracking on their doorsteps. The floodgates may open, but that's to the opposition to fracking.
But this is about British energy security. Why not have energy security and independence in this country, even if it goes against the wishes of some people in Lancashire?
The government's own data shows that the best way to improve energy security is to reduce our demand for gas, and that's by investing in energy efficiency measures and renewable energy, which will help people by making their homes less cold in the winter months and reducing their energy bills. We need to get off the hook of fossil fuels, and going all out for fracking is simply not the answer.
Ken Cronin, the majority of people in this country, 80%, are not in favour of fracking. They're not in favour of recarbonisation or going back to coal. They want alternative energy, renewable energy sources. You're going against the wishes not just of the community in Lancashire, but the community of this country.
Most surveys, particularly the ones produced by government, actually showed that the for and against are roughly the same, and the big group in the middle are undecided. But we have a dependency on gas, particularly for heating. 84% of our homes use gas for heating and 61% for cooking. Within the next 20 years, 80% of our gas will come from outside the UK. That's the reason why we need to produce our own gas, so we can secure our own future and heating needs.
OK, got to leave it there. Ken Cronin, Rose Dickinson, thank you very much indeed.